All right. Okay, we're going to go ahead and begin. It is Thursday, March 19th. We are meeting on Legacy Campus in the boardroom for our board meeting. And we'll begin with roll call. So,
Larry Jepson, board member.
Jeff Nielsen, board member.
Kathy Christiansen, board member.
Terry Rhodes, board member.
Dale Hanson, business administrator.
Can you do the microphone?
Yeah, walk up to it, we don't want to.
Don't touch it.
Randall Bagley, board member.
Is it on?
No.
Is it on?
Chris Corcoran, board member.
Okay. All righty. I will go ahead and lead us in the
Steve
pledge.
Norton, superintendent.
Oh, sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our mission is to educate students for, let me see, what is it? For success in a changing world. I think I would know that. Okay. No one wants to speak? Okay. All right, we'll move to the consent agenda, and I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Okay, are we not voting electronically?
If they're online, they can.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and vote then.
I'm not fired up yet, Bill.
Okay.
And I can enter them too, so.
Should we just vote?
I can open up and override those that aren't online, so should be open.
Should be on your screen.
Okay, it is, thanks.
So all the votes are in and unanimously in favor of the motion.
Okay. All right, we have a few things that we do need to approve. So we have a request for the approval of the LEA-specific license and endorsement policy. I'll take a motion to approve this.
I move that we approve the LEA-specific license and endorsement policy.
Okay, any discussion or questions about it?
I have a question.
Okay.
Normally with policy, we see them once or twice at least before we vote to approve them, and this
Is this new?
is new. It wasn't on last month's, or
Oh.
the last meeting agenda.
Oh, yeah. I looked at it and I thought, oh, yeah, that's what Kirk.
It wasn't on the last meeting's agenda. I looked today.
Well, he
I
presented it.
think it was on the meeting before.
Okay.
I think it was when you were gone.
I was gone the last meeting, but not the
Was
one
it?
before.
Oh,
So maybe that's, well, you would have seen it if you looked, but he did present.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make sure you get a copy of it, Terry.
I have the digital copy.
Okay. Any other concerns or questions? All right, we'll go ahead and vote on that one.
So all the votes are in and unanimously in favor of the motion.
Okay, we also have a request to approve the surplus property at North Cache, so I'll take a motion for that.
I move that we approve to declare the surplus property at North Cache.
Second.
Okay, questions on that? All right, we'll go ahead and vote.
Okay, so we have all the votes are in and unanimously in favor of the motion.
Okay. The next one, I'll take a motion to approve the reallocation of school land trust funds at North Cache Middle School.
I move to approve the reallocation of school and trust funds at North Cache Middle School.
I second it.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, we'll vote.
And all the votes are in unanimously in favor of the motion.
All righty. I will take a motion to approve the Greenville Elementary Trust Land Adjustment.
I move that we approve the Greenville Elementary Trust Land Adjustment.
I second.
Questions or concerns? Okay, we'll vote.
All the votes are in unanimously in favor of the motion.
Okay, the next one is a request for approval of the 2020-2021 school fees.
I move that we approve the 2020-2021 school fees.
Second.
Okay, any questions, concerns? All right, we'll vote.
Okay, all the votes are in unanimously in favor of the motion.
Okay, and then the last one for approval is the approval of the superintendent's job description. I'll take a motion.
Second.
Okay, I do have one question. Steve, did you get a chance to look at it? Are you okay with that? Anybody else have questions? Okay, we'll vote.
Okay, all of the votes are in and unanimously in favor of the motion.
Okay, Dale, the financial report. Hey, before you do that, are all of you getting the weekly or biweekly copy of the accounts payable?
No.
Anybody? You've got it? You have?
I don't know if I've got one recently. Usually I do, though.
Okay,
We've gotten them in the past, but we haven't gotten them. for
yeah,
the
I'm
moment.
not getting them. So Terry and I, you're getting them and you're getting them.
Yeah, I usually get it, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know if
and
I've got
Chris?
one recently,
Maybe Roger, those four, maybe we just check on. Okay, all right.
Could just do a quick report. So this would be for everything up through the end of February. And really have very little changes in the budget from what it was the previous month's report. Maybe just note a couple things quickly. On page 1 of the detailed report, the right at the very top, property tax receipts in the general fund. Last year at this time, we had received 95.7% of the budgeted property tax revenue. And this year, we're sitting at 82.4%. And so that's quite a bit less. But what I do is I actually receive 3 main deposits from the state, or from the county treasurer's office. One in January, well, it's actually one in December for November's collections, one in January for December's collections, and then in April, usually it's the very first part of April, I get one that's as of the end of March that catches up everything and closes out the year. So there's a little bit difference in the timing with how the county treasurer is taking account for this year. So we've been on target all the way through up until this one, but I think they hit it early last year, and so it kind of throws our comparisons off. But all the way down, as far as revenues received in all other areas, they look good. Coming down, like we say, 85% of the general fund is tied up into salaries and benefits, and in almost every situation, the expenditures to date are at a less percentage of budget than they were last year at the same time, meaning that this year's budget is strong to finish out the year. The one that's really fun to point out is on page 2, the area under operations and maintenance for utilities. So this will be a combination, I think, of a fairly mild winter that we've had, and also with the changes that we're experiencing with the Johnson Controls lighting retrofit and the other items that they're still working on right now, getting in place. But you can see that our utilities last year, at that point, we had spent $1,877,000. And this year, we're at $1,668,000. So even as a percentage, we're even better off than that as far as a percentage of budget. But so we are down, almost $200,000 less in actual costs of utilities this year than last year. So it's a good indication that something's working. We'll keep our eye on that and see how that continues. But everything else, I think, still is all in a solid position. You can read the report if you'd like, and if you have questions, you can contact me too. But that's about all I had.
Anybody have any questions for Dale?
I have one. On page 1 of the, under revenue, there's tuitions that are like 250% more than what we expected. Is that out-of-state tuition?
No, most part is preschool.
Oh, okay.
Which is new this year with the extended preschool program. So that's something we haven't had in the past. That's the lion's share of it. I don't know that adult ed tuition is any higher this year than past years. I don't think anything's changed there. But those are the only two real items.
So do parents pay that tuition, or does that come from the state?
That the parents, this is local revenue, so it would be from
yeah.
our students or parents, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Okay, Jeff?
Yeah, so I've sent, we've tried to thin down the evaluations for the superintendent, business administrator, and the board. I went through and had a list of, we took it from 80 questions down to 28, from 69 questions down to 23 for the business administrator, and for the board from 33 down to 18. I sent those back to Richard, and he's going to adjust the online evaluation and send it out. He hopes it'll be ready next week. So.
Oh, awesome. So last time, did you get a copy of your, superintendent, did you get a copy of your evaluation with the questions on it?
I think I did, yeah. I can't remember if it was the last one or the one before, but I don't remember.
Do you two want copies of all 3 of them again?
These are the new ones.
The new ones? Mhm. Okay. And then, is it okay if they have a question about anything, they could just talk to you or whatever? Is that all right with everybody? Okay, and same thing for the board, if we have some questions about the evaluation before we actually take it. Maybe we should say turn your questions into you at least 3 days
Yeah.
after that we get them or something?
Yeah, we could do that.
Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Is that it? Okay, we'll go to Terry then.
So just to report on the activities of the Joint Legislative Committee for USBA, which Steve and Dale and I kind of tag team attended. Sometimes they were there, sometimes I was there, but the biggest thing that came out of that committee was the support of the change in the Constitution that the legislature is going to propose to the public. And it's very interesting. I was at a USBA meeting Monday, because I'm now on the executive committee of USBA as well.
Oh, awesome.
So I was there Monday and heard a report from Terry Shoemaker that the media reports that that UEA and the legislature were able to come to agreement, and so this will move forward. But actually, UEA was not even at the table. It was USBA and the Superintendent's Association. So we owe a lot to Rick Nielsen, who's the superintendent from Nebo School District, and McKay Jetson, who is the president of the School Board Association, because they did a lot of work with, and Terry Shoemaker did a lot of work with the legislature, just a few key legislators, to make this deal work. And Steve gave a very fine, rousing speech at our last JLC meeting, and reminded people that it's not education that is the bad guy here, causing problems with the state budget, it's transportation. Because it's interesting that the amount that the legislature wants to start moving from, or start allowing use from the income tax or education fund, is $600 million, which is the exact amount that the legislature takes out of the general fund to put into the transportation fund. So anyway, so the suggestion and the two bills that passed, the House and the Senate, will add the line to the Constitution that says income tax will be spent for public education. They'll add and for programs for children and individuals with disabilities to that line. And so even though we have fought against the change in the Constitution in the past, it appears that this is really the best thing to do moving forward. So here's the list of exactly what that would, what would end up using income tax as well as education, which is Children's Justice Centers, Child Protection Service, Guardians ad litem, is that how you say that? The CHIP program, Children with Special Health Care Needs, Juvenile Justice Services, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, Immediate Care Facilities for Intellectually Disabled, Services for People with Disabilities, Mental Health Center, Substance Abuse Services, and State Office of Rehabilitation.
Wow.
Yeah. But the concessions that the legislature was willing to make as far as putting money into the Uniform School Fund that is specifically for K-12 education is something they haven't done for years, ever since 1996, when they changed the Constitution to allow income taxes to be spent on higher ed as well as K-12. They have not used the Uniform School Fund. And so with the changes they're suggesting to be put on the ballot this year, and you won't see this part on the ballot, but they wrote into the legislation for this year that they will start putting money, and was it $75 million to start with, into the Uniform School Fund, which will be to try and prepare for when the economy is not so great, which could be next year now, right? So that because education is paid for with income tax, and that's the most volatile tax depending on what the economy is doing, they're going to put money into the uniform school tax to try and offset the difficult economy years for education, so that we don't have another recurrence of 2008 through 12. Anyway, so it's not what we wanted for everything to be left how it has been, but it allows adding that one line to allow these services to be paid for with income tax, the ones that I listed, will give the legislature the flexibility they want, but leaves the income tax guaranteed funding for education, along with these other things that we ask for. So, anyway.
Maybe I could just add to that off of my superintendent's report. They also agreed to an inflationary increase every year based on some cost of living. Not sure which one it's going to be, but there'll be that added to it. And the 25 million, it wasn't 100 million, it went to 75. That extra 25 added another percent on to the WPU. So that's where they took that money from after they started talking to UEA. UEA was not at the table for the whole process of trying to get the language, but they did try to get their support so they didn't have to fight them all year and for the election coming up in November. So that was kind of their concession to the UEA, because that's where they went in originally was at a 6% increase, and the legislature only given 5. And then there's a couple other things. It's not what we wanted, but in essence, the people who, and they'll tell you, they didn't negotiate with the legislature. They were told where the legislature was going and asked to help them, to guide them, so that it would be something in the end that we could live with. And so when they got to the point where they said there was $2 billion they could take out of the funds that were going into higher ed and public ed without affecting, and I said billion, didn't I?
Mhm.
Yeah. $2 billion without actually breaking the law that said all money has to go from the income tax. They had figured out they could cut the education budget by $2 billion, and that was the starting point. Do you want the $2 billion cut, or do you want to sit down and talk? So we sat down and talked with them and got the best we could.
Yep.
But I also think they realized that they were not in a very good position with the public to get that voted out of the Constitution. So their idea was to go back to the 1996 idea, which was, let's just add some additional language that money can be spent on. And right now, to start with, it's going to fund CHIP and people with disabilities who receive funding from the state right now. And that list, there's a list apparently of families that get support for handicapped children. That list has never been fully funded, but they're going to start off with about a $600 million, which is what Terry indicated, amount of money that will come out of the income tax fund that will flow to that new category, those two new categories. So, best we can get under the circumstances. It's not bad. Could have been better, but we'll live with it.
Okay. Anybody have questions on that? All right, well, thank you, Terry and Superintendent, for representing our district down there, and we'll just move forward, hoping it's a good decision over the next coming years. All righty.
Before you leave that, so,
Okay.
so all of us on the board will need to be able to explain that to people who ask.
Okay,
And
so,
we'll get you the.
Yeah.
talking points.
We
So,
haven't seen, nobody's furnished us with a printed copy of.
no, they haven't made the wording yet of the,
We'll get that
But-
for you.
I'm telling you now because we're gonna have to be able to explain it as it gets closer to November.
Yeah,
Okay,
and we'll get you there.
okay,
Okay.
great. Okay,
Also, just know that the settlement too is contingent upon that, the constitutional change being passed in November, so.
So that part has to be voted on
Yes.
before they can
That
do
does.
any of this.
So there's a
Yes.
contingency on the agreements that they've entered into for the budget.
So basically, our stance is encouraging people to vote yes on the
Yes.
change of the words.
Which will be rough because we've been talking all year about voting no,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So now we're gonna have to be able to explain why we're changing our position, if that changes your position.
Okay.
So.
Because if they turn it down, then they'll just go ahead and take that money out. Okay.
Well, they'll just continue to do what they have been doing, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right, as long as we get some talking points so we can educate ourselves on it, that'll be great. Okay. All right. On the board president report, this was on, hang on one second. First of all, before I say anything, I did get the state of the district reports out to all the legislators, and they were very receptive to it. And I did get an email back from Senator Hilliard, who said, very impressive and great writing. So I thought that was pretty good for him to say that. So that was nice. So today on Facebook, this was up. I don't know this person, but he wrote, his name is Ken Buck. We gave educators almost no notice. We asked them to completely redesign what school looks like, and in about 24 hours, local administrators and teachers Apollo 13th the problem and fixed it. Kids learning, children being fed, needs being met in the midst of a global crisis. No state agency did this. No so-called national experts on curriculum. The local educators fixed it in hours. Hours. In fact, existing state and federal policies actually created multiple roadblocks. Local schools figured out how to do it around those two. No complaining and no hand-wringing, just solutions and amazingly clever plans. Remember that the next time someone tries to convince you that schools are better run by mandates from non-educators. Remember that the next time someone tells you that teachers have it easy, or try to persuade you that educators are not among the smartest, most ingenious people in society. And please, never say to me again, those who can't do anything else just go into teaching. Get out of the way of a teacher and watch with amazement at what really happens. So congratulations to our district and to our teachers. I just heard positive comments so far about things working, and I know there was a lot of time and effort and creative new ideas all across the board to make it work, but it seems like it's working, so we appreciate that.
Thank you, that's going out to all staff tomorrow.
Oh, good, good, okay. So then, the couple of things here, when we put this together, the regional meeting was going to be held on the 26th, but now it's going to be online. And I don't really get this part, so if somebody knows and can explain it, that we can either do this individually on the website of USBA, the information, or we can do it together on Tuesday, May 26th. But I don't understand that part. Does anybody?
On Tuesday, May 26th, they're gonna hold a Zoom meeting.
So what does that mean?
That means it'll be online, and so everyone will be logged in, and so that you can see the presentation. And I'm guessing that McKay Jensen and Terry Shoemaker will be doing it. They're going to originate the meeting from McKay's office, because he has enough bandwidth or power or whatever it takes to do a Zoom meeting with that many people. So you can do it live, that's what that means, live on the 26th.
And so
at
would we
those
all
times.
meet to do that?
And so we could meet here, and because it would be in lieu of our normal regional meeting, we could meet on the 26th here and all see it together, so that we can discuss or whatever. They're going to present they're going to present again the stuff that I just told you with details, and talk about other pieces of legislation that went through that will affect our districts. And so we can do it that way, Or we can do it individually
Oh.
and just watch a recorded version.
Okay, so if we do it individually, is that something I'm going to be able to figure out how to do?
Yes, you can, because you can just call Tim.
Yeah, I would say.
Anytime, night or day, you can call Tim.
Okay,
Zoom's not too tough. You just click on a link and another link and you directs you there, so it's pretty easy.
okay.
Yeah, the email they sent out did have the link in there, just saying you just needed to
I'll
click
have to
on
click
that.
on the
And
link.
gave you a couple of steps on how to set up your microphone and your camera, which are part of your Chromebook, so you could actually be live right there in the meeting and participate.
Okay. So I guess the question is then, which way do we all prefer doing it? As a group or individually? I'll just ask each one of you individually, which would be your preference, Larry?
My first thought is individual, but
Okay.
if there's some important discussion we need to hold as well, why, then we'd be better to be together.
Okay, Jeff?
Individual for me.
Okay. Terry?
I would agree with Larry.
To be together?
Individual or, I mean, either way is fine with me.
Okay, Chris? Okay. And what about you, Randall?
Yeah, I think that's why you have Zoom, so you can do this individually. And also, you can ask questions, you can submit them and interactive, so if you have questions, you can easily do that.
So are you saying individual or as a group?
Individual.
Okay, all right.
And I think if you reflect back on the meetings that we've had, where we've gone as a group, it's really a presentation meeting where they get the information out to you, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna have the time to beat them to the punch. So I think you'll be fine just getting it individually, and then the next time we get together, we can discuss what they presented. So I would think you'd wanna do it individually, and then if you have questions, the next time we get together, we can talk about it. But we don't do a lot of discussion
Right.
Right.
when they present in live, so I'm just saying, I doubt they're gonna present anything you would feel that you wanted to have a discussion right that night.
So, okay, and what about you, Dale?
I agree with the superintendent.
Okay. So their email said that all of the stuff was going to be available today, the materials. Does that mean not any video of anything, just, what, I just don't understand.
Probably just, I don't know, I haven't been on,
Yeah, I would assume it's handouts, materials that they would normally give to us in person that we can print off on our own and
Okay,
have
Okay, that
available
makes
for the
sense.
meeting.
Yeah.
all right, so should we take a vote? How many of you prefer to do it individually at home?
We can do it individually, makes sense.
Okay, all right, so if that's the way
You're
we'll do
not
it
a
then.
voter?
We'll do it individually, and
But she asked you your opinion.
I'll send out a reminder for the 26th, and somebody called me on the 25th, just in case I forget about that. All right. Okay, I think that's everything for you.
I think anybody, anywhere would probably tell you this has been quite a week. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. I think there's concern. But I would echo what that great teacher wrote, and we've had tremendous effort put forth, and it'll be interesting as things go on. There was one comment that was made, I wish I had it in front of me, but it was about yesterday, and it had to be somebody like in Utah who was just on schedule, as yesterday was the first day of homeschool. They said, you parents must not be too proud of your school offerings, because not a one of you put a damn picture on of the first day of school with your kids all dressed up and like you do normally when you send them off to the regular school. But yeoman's efforts by all of the people in the district office and by every staff out there, And are you getting my superintendent quotes of the day?
Yes.
So the one that I really loved was the one where you have the couch and it says, "Our elders were called to war to save lives, and we are being called to sit on the couch to save theirs." I think that's the general message we want to give to all of our people, and it's to all of our parents, and it's to all of you and your business people and everyone, is if we just do and sacrifice for a little bit, and it's driving some people stir crazy, I know that, but it's a very small sacrifice when you think about whose lives you're protecting, and it's just been a great experience. If you want a little detail from Gary and Mike about how things have gone, they can give it to you, but in essence, it's been a really, really great opportunity for teachers and staff to pull together and just turn this thing around, and got some awful good stuff going on out there. It might be entirely different a week from now, but it doesn't matter what's being thrown at us, we seem to be able to handle it. And technology is the thing that I told you was a tool, and I think now we're just realizing that it's a tool that's going to allow us to continue to go on with education. And I think we were in a perfect position. We hadn't overdone or overemphasized technology, but it was certainly there, and it's certainly giving us all that we need right now to help us. If it gets clogged up, the first place it's probably going to hurt is in the individual homes. Their capability and their internet service is probably going to be an issue, and they're not going to understand that until they've been on and tried. But we have the capability here, but at some of our homes, their internet might not be capable of doing all the things that we want them to do. And that's basically on our secondary level. So if you want a more detailed report, we can give it to you. If not, we're often flying down a whole new road, airstrip, and everything's flying well.
Oh, very well done.
So-
It's, the response
Yeah,
time
you would
is
have,
amazing.
you would have the full gamut. You've
Oh,
got
yeah.
secondary and elementary kids.
Yeah, it's,
Is it gone okay?
yeah, it's flawlessly. It's been really, really good.
When you go, I don't, I think all of you probably been on our website, but I'm telling you, that was this young man right here, and in some staff, and Gary also, they gave their weekend up to make sure that when parents got on, it was push-button ease to get to where they need to go.
I went on, and I could do it, so
Yeah.
I figured everybody else.
That's
should.
the litmus test, right?
Yeah, all of the students are fine.
You've got some wonderful people you're privileged to work with, and they are great from top to bottom. So it's a pleasure to work in an organization that pulls together as a family when we need to. And we forget about individual differences, and we just do what's best for kids. And that's a great feeling right now. But we were just talking today, at the end of the day, when we get home, we're all in collapse mode by the end of the day. However, I got to let you know that Gary and Tim decided they needed to refresh, so they got their bikes out, and where did they go? Papa J's in Clifton, Idaho, to get some jerky and a drink and to just relax. And then Gary thought he had to let it all out, and he met a policeman on the way home.
Bishop.
Nice guy, though, yeah. They let him off. They shouldn't have, but they did.
On a bike, you got in trouble?
He was speeding.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
this is
a
a motorbike.
This is a high-power bike.
Gotcha. Well,
And you would,
I'm a little less impressed now.
did you,
All he was doing was turning
Okay, I was gonna
Were
say.
you not on the West Highway?
Yes,
And there was a cop there?
thank you.
I haven't seen one there for months.
Yeah, there was one Monday.
Wow.
I saw one once.
We don't allow speeders.
Well, had you been on bicycles, I was going to tell you, I'm home most of the day. I could give you a ride if you need one. Oh, gosh.
Okay, I'm looking at the USBA website and the PowerPoint for the regional meeting is up on that homepage.
Oh, so we can do it right now?
Yeah, so you can just click on it and look at well, you can look at the documents.
Okay,
And on your home computer, you can print it off.
okay. All right, great. Anybody have anything else you want to say or worry about? Yeah, ooh.
I think I saw you in this little, and you may have talked about it in the last meeting that I missed, but, is the Cache County School District playing a prominent role in this KUTV report that's airing tonight? This beyond the books report?
We did last week.
Oh, because they were,
It was Tuesday.
they were promoting it again today.
Yeah, it's a series.
Oh, so they've done two already. I missed the first one, but the second one, it's kind of lame, really.
Tim will send you the first one, he has it, it's out there.
Okay,
It's, in my opinion, and I've been in this business for over 40 years, it's the worst case of reporting I've ever seen done, and that was the first night. You're always gonna have two sides of the story, and it's okay to have two sides. Joel was phenomenal, I thought he did an excellent job, but just because an allegation is made doesn't mean it's true.
yeah.
And he just kept pounding the nail that we were putting kids in boxes and Joel did a marvelous job of saying, sometimes you do have to try and control the behavior of the kid. And, but anyway, yeah, it's something we're well aware of. And
Would the rest of you want to see that one, the first one?
No, I mean, I would, but I think the first one or two must have passed it by.
Mhm.
On during USC spring break. It's been so crazy that I've gone on campus the last 2 weeks, but I followed that reporter, because he's responsible for keeping on the books reports, and I tend, in my mind, after seeing them over, a few years, I mean, they tend to be fairly useless in the sense that
and inflammatory.
it tends to be really negative, and I think it actually kind of goes back to the discussion we've had previously in the past several months about, why sometimes people's perceptions about what education accomplishes is actually, skewed. They don't look at the main mission.
Yeah.
They can't
Yeah.
focus on.
I think he must have had bad experience in school.
Yeah.
He takes a negative approach on everything he does.
Every single report is negative.
Yeah.
And how he's gonna negotiate tonight, I don't know, but he started off the first week condemning us for trying to control behavior. And I think where he's going tonight is the Emily Hill story, the teacher that quit because we didn't do
Oh,
anything.
interesting.
Yeah.
So is it on tonight? I thought it was just on Tuesday nights, so apparently not
I'm fairly certain this morning I saw.
on tonight. Okay.
For tonight, and
Tim, can you send those out to everybody on the board if they haven't seen them? Okay, all right. Okay, I think we have covered everything. Does anyone have anything else? Okay, this meeting is adjourned then.